My name is Bosco Kaweesi. Well, the kind of jobs I'm doing for in Bangalore for the Siddis, basically on social education, like finding places where they can go for higher education so that they can improve their quality in life. That's basically I used to do for the Siddis, you know, because it was not easy to find good schools can accept you, especially when you don't have enough money to pay in schools which are occupied by elites. So it was some kind of a hard task. The thing which made me to be involved in this, actually I didn't know anything about it. But when I came down to Pune to pursue my education, that is in the year 1995, a friend of mine came across the Siddis in the North Canara, and I was here with my brother. He also did a research in that. And since I'm a social scientist student, so I picked up the interest of finding out how the group arrived here, what are the economic status, the social status, what are the social problems they face on a day-to-day basis, are they accepted by the community, do they share the piece of the cake like the rest of other Indian community. Such things raised this curiosity. Then I started to do a research. Taken a needs assessment research. We look at the problem, the cause, and then we draw a plan of intervention. So in my research, I came to know that social education, it was the need of the hour. The whatever institution, education institutions which were available or present or being accessed by them could not give them enough knowledge which can make them to really tackle the problems of life. Knowledge which can make them competitive in today's world. So the research led me to a conclusion that social education should be focused on.
When you first came here, how was the Siddi community? How was the level of education? And also, how was their living standard in the state of Karnataka?
That's a very good question. When I first came, as per my understanding and definition of education, it was zero among the community. And the education which they were receiving, it could not actually help them to discover the resources. That's a human resource. It could not make them to be competitive. It could not give them enough skills, which can help them to compete in terms of getting jobs and all. In fact, it was offered in Kannada medium language only. You could find only one person who could say, my name is so and from there they can't continue. You see, education should liberate you from the social problems. So the type of education they were receiving, it could not really help them to sustain their lives. In fact, it was only helping them to be exploited more by the Brahmins. Because when we first came, we tried to introduce English. So everyone started convincing them that learning English, it will spoil their brains. If they learn English, they will not get jobs. They should study only in local language. You find a teacher who's running a school, kids from first standard until sixth standard, they're sitting in one classroom under one teacher. You can imagine. One line is first standard, second line is third standard. So he will tell first standard, you keep quiet, and then he teaches second standard, you also keep quiet. In the same classroom, you can imagine the type of education which was existing. But when I looked at the whole system, I couldn't find even someone who has completed 10th standard when I came. So I was really shocked. I couldn't believe when I could see the rest of the Indian community, majority speaking English, others their kids in very good schools. I couldn't believe it. But compared to the time when I came and now, there's been a lot of improvement. Well, I could say that there is a negligence from the government side. And when you say what is it is a system. You see, I may discriminate you in many ways. Discrimination doesn't mean that when I come and then take a stone and hit on your head. Even ignoring you is another form of discrimination because I know what is right and then I fail to do it. It's some kind of abuse, exploitation. The only way, because majority they're working in farms of other Brahmin rich people, so the only way how they could exploit them or to make them to be bonded laborers is to keep them in that such a situation so that they don't have access to better jobs which can, really, support their families, and they say, no, now I'll not work as a bonded laborer, I have a good job. So it was a failure from the part of the government, I would say. They would have introduced a better system of education just like the rest of other Indian community. There was no reason why the government cannot put up an English medium school for everyone. They can't give me even one answer for that. Yeah, totally negligence. India is divided into 4 castes. You will find the Shudras, those untouchables, which will have these tribals and all, they will come under that category. There is the Kshatriya, there is the Vaishya, and then you find the Brahmin, they call them the Trisi-born. Those are the elites in the society. They control the resources, they control the system. Though they are few in number, but all good things go to them. They take the cream, the cake first goes to their table before it could be divided to others. So these are elites in India, the top class of the Indian society. Those are the Brahmins. Back in those days, they could use everyone just like the way the British used to, to behave with the slaves and all that. Even when you're working on their fields, who does all the work for them in the field? It is this Shudras. There's a lower class people. They're the ones who does the work for the Brahmins.
Since India has a very complicated class system, how would you level the position of Siddis within that class system?
No, the Siddis, I would say they belong to the Shudra system because they would treat them the same way like the way they treat the Shudras. So in other words, in the strata, in the social strata of the system, the Indian culture, they don't even have a position. Though they may be called the scheduled tribes. But in reality, there is no specific position which is given to them. If that was the case, today they would have MPs in the parliament. Because the rest of the tribals, they have MPs in parliament. No one is representing them in parliament. Nobody is in the parliament. 400 years of the existence in this country, no one has gone even to be MP. Because the system is like that. If their position is really recognized, the government could have made efforts to see that at least one member can represent them in parliament or the state assembly or any other place, government place.
The Shudras, you said, are the lowest in Indian class system. So would you say that even those Shudras might think they are above Siddis too in Indian social ladder?
Well, in one way or the other, you see, when the Siddis, they look like Africans. Originally, they're from Africa. When we talk about being the lowest or below poverty line, it does not depend on the color of the skin, but we are talking about the economic status of an individual. So in terms of economic status, the Shudras are counted as untouchable. But if you put a Shudra with a Siddhi, they two may move together because they share the common platform, which platform? Poverty may combine both of them. Because if a Shudra overlooks at the Siddhi, it will be in such a way that the Shudras come up above the poverty line. Because we have 3 levels. We have people who are below the line, and those who are on the line and above the line. So, if if there are changes in economic lifestyle, other people tend to overlook others. But in reality, if you look at the Siddis and the Shudras, you know, but you will see that the Shudras, they may look at the Siddis, but we don't have the same color. They are different in terms of color and structure and physical appearance and all that stuff.
Since you've been working with the Siddis in their community for a long time, what is your plan now moving forward?
Well, presently, what I'm doing for the community is try to orient them. You see, I don't believe in a theory where you fish and you give fish to someone. My presence was to train the Siddis how to fish and where to fish, to take the right nets, to take the right hooks, fish, and after fishing, what do you do with the fish? Do you give it to the dog or you eat it? Presently, we have so many Siddis who are educated. Others, you see, they're working in court as lawyers. Others, in government officers, and they're trying to become judges. At present, I'm engaged in orientation method, but my plans are more still focusing on social education. We have started a school over there in among the cities, the first school actually. I was trying to make it to be the best so far in the country.